Jack Uldrich is a global futurist and chief unlearning officer at the School of Unlearning. He's also the author of 10 books, and I met him a long time ago, won't say how long ago, when we were doing a podcast in a previous life on one of those books. Jack, how you holding up?
I'm holding up great. How about you, Dave?
Man, wearing a jacket in the home office. Pressure's on. I gotta go out and.
I'm up in my game here.
Okay, fine. No pressure. Listen, you wrote an excellent post. I saw it in LinkedIn. I think it was in Medium that you wrote it for on this on the concept of heroes or heroics. I'm curious, what is the role, or how do you see heroes and heroics coming into or playing a role in this moment of high flux? You know, whether it's COVID or poor economic conditions or civil unrest. What are your thoughts on that?
We need to redefine what a hero is. I mean, over the last half century, it has been focused on financial success, fame, success on the playing field in sports. From my perspective, we have to redefine heroes around issues of character. People who are doing the right thing when no one is watching. And this could be empathy, could be compassion, it could be taking physically courageous acts. What I would really love to see is there's something known as the Presidential Freedom Medal. And
Yes.
We always give it to famous people.
Right.
I would love to see it just give to average citizens who exemplify what it really means to do the right thing when no one is watching. And this time that we're living through right now provides so many people who are doing this, and we have to hold them up. And I think if we can do that, then we can all start aspiring to higher levels and become better selves than we are right now.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And since you're a published futurist, you have ideas about the future. How has this crazy moment of work from home and whatever the hell else we're dealing with now, how has it impacted your view or the role of futurists? You know, or is it sort of a oh my gosh, everything's changed, I didn't see this coming, or is it one of those I told you so, I told you people?
In my case, and I don't mean to blow my own horn, but in a book that I wrote called Foresight 2020, I wrote it in 2012, and I used a lot of scenarios to say, we have to think about unthinkable things. And in the opening chapter, I have a pandemic breaking out in the year 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had it starting in Mexico and not China. But my point was never to predict the future specifically. It is to say, we have to think about unthinkable things. And we need to continue to do this. There are going to be other events that are more horrific than the pandemic, and we need to begin thinking about them now. The other thing I would say as a futurist is the pandemic has accelerated the future. The explosion in e-commerce has been accelerated by that. Remote working, what you and I are doing right now, telemedicine, this has advanced the future by 5-10 years. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think I was specifically talking about a pandemic, but I was saying the world is accelerating and we need to be prepared for change. And we all have to become more flexible and adaptable ourselves.
I'm curious, a trope that is, not even a trope, it's sort of a genre, let's say, that's always been sort of popular, at least over the past 20 years, is kind of that PostArmageddon, who's left over, what are the survivors, what is the future like after disasters and stuff like that. Why do you think we're drawn to, those disaster stories and life after disaster and who's left? And, do you got any quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an evolutionary instinct, I believe, is that you have to pay more attention to fear. That's how we grew up. If there was a tiger in the bush, you had to react to that fear. But from my perspective, the world has changed so much. There's so many reasons to be optimistic about the future. If you actually study some of these trends, what we can do in renewable energy, what we can do in preventative healthcare, how we can leverage technology to transform education and affordable housing. The future can, in fact, be really beautiful. And there's a new genre coming up, and I wasn't even familiar with this term. It's called solar punk, who instead of having dystopian futures are painting vivid, beautiful pictures of the future. And I think that we need more of that.
I got to check that out. I need a little pick me up, a little,
We all do.
After you're drinking those 6 packs of 1984, it wears you down. Hey, listen, and just as a little play on a little jujitsu game I'm going to play on you here. Typically, the last question I ask my guests is, Jack, what lessons have we learned during this work from home COVID-19 craziness, this moment of high flux? What lessons have we learned that we must not forget? But since you're the unlearning guy, I thought I would ask, Jack, what lessons or things must we unlearn at this moment?
Oh, so this is a perfect segue, is that I always look at what do I have to unlearn? And for years, I have always portrayed myself as a political independent. And I still vote that way. But this whole notion of independence is something that we need to unlearn. The greatest lesson of the pandemic is how interconnected and how interdependent we are on one another. The fact that a tiny virus in Wuhan, China can bring the global economy virtually to its knees should be humbling for all of us. And for years, I have been someone who has sort of valued independence and sort of, having grown up in America with that ethos of independence, it's something that I have to unlearn. We are living in an interconnected global economy, and our survival as a species is dependent upon us seeing our interconnectedness and our interdependence.
Jack, it's been so great to catch up with you. I look forward to other really cool future conversations. And before we go, I just want to say hats off to your technical producer, Cindy, for an awesome setup job. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.